Hey guys. All right, so this is an overview of your research project. So we're going to look a little bit at the end of Unit 3 because that's really where you start, and then we'll go through all that you're going to need to do in Unit 4 for your actual research paper. There's some differences in pre-AP and regular English 10 on this, so I'll be talking to you about some of those. So let's begin with, I'm on the pre-AP lesson mods. So this is lesson 9 of Unit 3. Okay, so the last thing in Unit 3 that you have to do. Pre-AP has to do a full research paper proposal. We actually went over this in detail in our live lesson from yesterday, April the 6th. So if you need some detailed help on that, then there are directions here. You can go to that link for what I'm looking for in a paper proposal. But you can also look at our live lesson from April the 6th, and those are, of course, always kept on our website. And we go through an example and look at step by step what you should do. Okay, so pre-AP for this research paper proposal, you'll write out your proposal. In addition to that, you need to include 5 sources on your topic that are cited in MLA format. Don't worry so much about them being absolutely correct. You're welcome to use something like BibMe or Citation Machine for this portion. And then under each one, you need to give me a few sentences on each source justifying it. So why can we trust this source? What's in the source? And what do you plan to use out of it? So you'll put all of this in a Word document and submit that to me in Connexus under lesson 9 of unit 3. Okay, so let's look then at what regular English 10 has to do. Same thing, lesson 9 is still your research proposal. Instead of doing a full research paper proposal, I want you to just send me your topic and your research question. And then in addition to that, I want you to give me 3 sources in MLA format. And again, you can use the same BibMe or Citation Machine, whatever you need to use to do that at this point. And then give me the same few sentences after each one telling me why can we trust this source, what's in the source, and what do you plan to use out of it. And so you will submit that into lesson 9 of unit 3. So on both of these, you've got to figure out what you're going to research. Now, our general topic is social media. Okay, so you can do anything that's related in any way to social media. The purpose for turning in these research proposals is so that I can help guide you. I can look over what you're turning into me and I can say, hey, that's a great idea, but maybe it needs to be narrowed. Or I'm not sure that this really has space for you to work in it. We might need to tweak it a bit. So that's why it's important so that you don't write your whole paper and then you have to go back and go, oh no, this really didn't work out. I'm going to have to start over. We don't want that. I have included some possible topics for you. These were just me brainstorming, so it's not formatted great or anything like that. But these are just some ideas for issues dealing with social media. You can make these as specific as you would like. If you want to focus on one type of social media, that's totally up to you. But remember, you're not just giving me a, hey, let me tell you all about Twitter and how to use it. You need to have something that has an argument to it. Okay, so for example, if I was going to do something on social media and finding jobs, I might say Facebook is the new platform for finding jobs. Okay, that's an argument. I'm making an opinionated statement, and then I have to prove it using my research. So lots of things here to think about: dating and social media, privacy in social media, how social media has affected journalism, libraries, safety, bullying, online harassment, cheating and homework in social media, the evolution of social media, censorship, marketing, free speech, and how that applies in social media, your digital footprint, health issues related to it. So you have lots of different thoughts here. And then I've even given you some in the form of questions to help you kind of think through how would this look as an argument. So should we be worried that software tracks us through social media? So you could say, yes, we should be worried about this, and then develop that into your topic, because that would force you to have an argumentative stance. There are some other links here on this page that lead you to some more sites that deal with topics about social media, so you can look through those. This is just to get you thinking. You do not have to choose anything that's on this page. Okay, whatever you choose just has to be over social media. All right, so let's go through Unit 4. The first thing to note is this. You're going to get 24 points for your draft of the research paper. You're going to get another 24 points, 48 points for your final, excuse me. So what that means is this. You can't get around this paper. In order to pass for this semester, you're going to have to do this. So kind of get that in your mind right now. And hopefully you can pick a topic within the subject of social media that you're interested in, so it won't be too painful for you. You do have C notes that you need to take. These are here. So not a lot of C notes, but you have 5 little elements. So lesson 1, you're taking notes on avoiding plagiarism and scanning for relevance. Lesson 3, you're taking notes on how to outline. Lesson 5, you're taking notes on formatting, basic paper formatting for MLA, and then lesson 9, quoting and paraphrasing. Okay, and those are going to be helpful in actually doing your paper. So those are your C notes for this unit. All right, so nothing is skipped in this unit. Okay, so you're going to go through and do everything as is in Connexus. What I've done in the lesson modifications for this unit is I've given you a lot of additional help. Okay, so for example, all the quick checks are there. However, I've added things like, of course, the C notes, what to take C notes over. But for example, lesson 2, this is about drafting your thesis statement. So I've given you a couple of videos here on writing thesis statements. Okay, and they're pretty great sources. So you'll definitely want to check those out. And then, you continue on. Lots of different things, outlining, etc. Writing your introduction. So I've given you a video on what not to do in your intro, what to do in conclusions, what not to do in conclusions. And then when you start drafting, I've given you lots of resources. There's a video on how to format your paper for MLA. There's a website called the MLA, Al Purdue's MLA site, which is a fabulous website that gives you how to cite all kinds of things. So this is what it looks like. Everything we do is MLA, and so it's going to take you through, if you need to know how to do in-text citations, then that's there. If you need to know, okay, how do I cite a website, then it's going to walk you through, here's how you cite a website or a page on a website. Okay, so super great resource there. Okay, so you're going to be submitting a full draft. If you're in regular English 10, that draft needs to be 1.5 pages and include 3 sources. If you are in pre-AP, your draft needs to be 2 pages and include 5 sources, which is here. Okay, 2 full pages, 5 sources. All right. A note, you've got to include your works cited page to get credit. Whoops, too many things open. So make sure you're reading these warnings. So you'll turn in your draft. For lesson 6, you're going to post a trouble spot to a discussion board. So here's the discussion board for this. You're going to post just an excerpt. And so you'll go down here in comments, copy and paste your trouble spot. And then additionally put some questions like, this really isn't working for me, or I can't figure out how to do this. And then you're going to give feedback to at least 2 other classmates, giving them specific kinds of ways they can maybe fix the issue or help you through the trouble spot. The thing is, though, guys, that you need to not be general and do not upload your entire paper. We are not proofing and editing an entire paper, just one trouble spot. Like this one paragraph or this one sentence isn't quite working out, so that we have something very specific that we can help each other work on. All right. So that discussion board is the only real modification um, besides the specifications of your research paper in Connexus. Okay, everything else is just added videos. Note that the 6-trait power right never works right. We never use it, so always ignore that. All right, and then you will in lesson 11 turn in your final. And of course, I'll give you feedback on your draft, so you'll have all of that. Um, you're going to be getting 48 points for this. 24 points will be based on your writing. So, your grammar, your development, your clarity, those kinds of things. The other 24 points will be based on your MLA formatting, and your sources. So, have you followed MLA formatting to a T? And we're talking like the periods are right, the punctuation, the italics, everything is pristine in your works cited page? Have you included parenthetical citations correctly? Are the sources that you've chosen to use good and reliable? Okay, and that's one of the things I'll be commenting on your drafts and in your proposals. I'll be looking at your sources and saying, hey, this isn't really a great source. So that's basically it. Remember, all the links that are in the lesson modifications are down here. So if you need them all in one place, they're there for you. The other thing to note is that all of our live lessons will go over a different aspect of the research paper. So for example, yesterday we talked about choosing a topic, and also about writing that paper proposal. Next week, we will be going over evaluating sources and crafting a thesis. The next week, we'll be going over parenthetical citations and including your sources in your paper, quoting, paraphrasing, etc. And then the next week, we'll be going over your works cited page and what that's supposed to look like. So you'll definitely want to stay tuned to those live lessons because that'll be helpful in this project as well. All right, remember that you can always contact me or come in for tutorials if you need help with this. Okay, don't let it overwhelm you. The first step is to choose your topic related to social media and get it approved, and then you can move forward with the rest of this. So, all right, guys, good luck. I can't wait to read them.